Hey, how's everybody doing? We're back again with another episode of Stronger Together. My name is Ray. I am the co-founder of Project Roll Call, and we're still in Spokane, Washington, and we have the honor of sitting here with Kelly this evening, and he's going to tell us a little bit about himself and his organization. So, Kelly, could you please introduce yourself? Tell us if you have any military connection, and then a little bit about your organization.
Yeah, appreciate it. Number one, thank you very much, Ray, for having us here. And when I say us, the whole organization is with me, and many of them know that I'm here today. So I'm excited to talk about our crew and our team.
Awesome.
But yes, I definitely do have military experience. I spent 7 years in the, I say, God blessed Coast Guard, doing search and rescue, helicopters. Spent a couple of years on the big cutters, doing the deployments in the Bering Sea, Gulf of Alaska, summer, winter, and that's when I realized that helicopters look like a lot more fun than being on a ship in the middle of the Bering Sea. So spent 5 years on the helicopters, 3 years in Coos Bay, North Bend, Air Station North Bend, and then last 2 years really just kind of LAX Airport. We had a hangar right between the two major runways, and we had 3 helicopters, and it was a great time in my early 20s, living on the beach, basically down in LA, and being the Baywatch of the Coast Guard down there. So it was pretty awesome. And so 7 years total, and man, it was some of the best years of my life.
It sounds like a pretty rough gig, man. Being in your 20s down there on the beach, that'd be hard to deal with.
Yeah. I mean, it was great. My wife and I, Dawn, being down there as a young couple and living like literally half mile off the beach and being done at 2:30 sometimes in the day, hitting the Strand. It was tough duty.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, that whole area is pretty cool. I used to live in Manhattan Beach and going down on the Strand, and I had to get off work and go down there and just run around the people. The whole vibe was really kind of cool. So
yeah, I always said if money was not an option, I would have a place in Manhattan Beach.
All right.
I just love it down there. I just think it doesn't matter if I'm 70 or 20, board shorts and flip flops, man.
Right.
I just feel like that's my day every day.
Right.
It would be so good down there, and people in the Strand. It's just a different lifestyle. People think LA, and you forget about those beach communities and how just chill they are, and still it just seems like you might be in the 60s down in LA, on the beaches.
Right. Yeah, good times. I'd like to go back there. Life pulled me a different direction, but I do think fondly of those days. So had a lot of good times in there.
Yeah, but it's great for me, with the military. That many of my brothers that I served with. In fact, we communicate on a regular basis. That's the one great thing about being in the military is once you wore the uniform with these other men and women, that they are forever brothers, sisters of yours, and which kind of pulled me into where I'm at right now with Veterans Community Response is that brotherhood, that family, that little thing that, that most civilians, and I don't hold anything against them, they've never had that and experienced that relationship with others and served in places and done things that oftentimes, unfortunately, takes some of your friends, or you survive and come home and you get to, again, sometimes, unfortunately, wrestle through those emotions with your friends back home. But for me, that Coast Guard was, my crew makes fun of me all the time, VCR crew, Veterans Community Response, VCR, in that I'm the lone coastie and the president of the organization. So, but it was everyone in our organization, which is the target of it, is to help our combats veterans, right?
Right.
To truly bring them home, because many of them are living here and they're not home. There's heightened, in their homes, oftentimes self-medicating. And so we want to reach them and bring them home. And so for me as a president of the organization, non-combat guy, my team behind me, really in front of me, they have probably over 20 years combined, I think, of actual combat experience.
Awesome.
So for me to be around them is just a great honor. And so hearing their stories and listening to their vulnerabilities, the times that we spend together, really helps me understand even further them and really the men and women we're trying to reach and still help.
Right.
To our organization.
Right. So can you tell us a little bit about VCR? I mean, who are you guys? Where'd you come from? Where'd you start?
Yeah, I mean, really, it's crazy. Even odder than a Coast Guard guy is the president of a organization like this is the founder, Darren. He is a fireman, he was not combat, or he wasn't even a veteran. But he started an organization, it's established 2009, even though he was started working before that and the things he was doing over Montana. But Darren just had a passion as a fireman, understanding a little bit of what it was like to go through that, first responder, which wasn't really a word back when he started, right? That's more the last 10 years, I'd say decade.
Yeah, for sure.
We've really focused on, and I'm so glad they have, because first responders and what they deal with on a daily basis here at home is, it's very difficult.
And it's service as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So he just had that vision of wanting to not only help the men and women that he worked with, but really understanding and working and helping our veterans. And so he teamed up with other men and women who were veterans, and really the organization kind of found itself through retreats where we were taking groups of individuals away for 4 days and giving them the opportunity to sit around a fire or sit around a table and break bread with like-minded individuals again that they haven't seen or been around for quite some time, and getting that opportunity to talk about some of their stuff in a safe place. So that's kind of where it established itself back in 2009. And so we, in Spokane, we've kind of, in a sense, put our roots here and are growing them all the time and feeding them and fertilizing them so we can grow as an organization, because we understand that demand here is so high, with an Air Force base right here, a very large Air Force base that we have, a very large VA, that we have a lot of individuals in the community. But I'll tell you, Ray, that I came over, it's been probably about 5 or 6 years ago now, I think. I was with another nonprofit for almost 14 years and worked with them doing a lot of public relations work. It was called Blessings Under the Bridge here in Spokane. So work with the most vulnerable of our community, the homeless. And we met them where they're at on the streets. And oftentimes I run into many of our veterans that were on the streets as well, and talk to them about their service and introduce myself as a veteran and talk and laugh a little bit about the goofiness that, others don't understand around us, so.
Absolutely.
So I just remember when I was there that I just felt like it was time for me to shift my gears into help veterans. And Terry, who is our secretary, has been with the organizations pretty much since its conception. I met her at Colonel Maxfield, who's a legend in Spokane. He basically built and ran the Army Training Center in Iraq. And so Colonel Max, I was at his birthday party and I was talking about this at the table. I didn't know her. And she just kind of was like, we need to talk. And she brought me over, and not long after that, I was on the board. And I tell you, this organization is unlike any other one I've ever been around. And I've worked with nonprofits all over Spokane. And the layers of VCR, how it helps our veterans, our community, our disabled veterans, our elderly. I mean, it's just those who were hit by disaster is such an incredible organization. And I remember sitting down with Terry and trying to, map it out. There's so many layers to this organization, because most organizations, and I'm not dogging them, but like your job is to feed people.
Right.
That's the mission.
Right.
And you feed them well. But this one, it's like there's so many different directions we go with this organization. And for example, we have a community service direction, right? Which is, well, let me start with the foundation, which is where it started, was with the retreats.
Okay.
Because this is how we got to connect with them. We get to connect with them. So with the Vet Center in Spokane, or the BA, this is how we meet our veterans that are in need. And they need to be vetted, meaning they have to be cleared through these organizations before we take them for 4 days into the mountains and spend time with them and get them to be vulnerable, because we want to make sure that they're ready to be vulnerable.
Right.
And we're blessed with great clinicians, Dante and Blaine, just to mention a couple. And it just, they are so good and gracious to volunteer their time to come to our retreats and to help us out. And because the guys need it. They need that clinician to kind of lead the meetings, the breakout sessions. They're very intentional with what they do. And it's just not guys sitting around and on their own just coming up with whatever they want. And so we go from basically sun up to sundown for 4 days and just do various activities with these men. And of course, like a high school kid going to leadership camp, you show up and you're quiet and you want to go home. Many of the guys, as you probably can figure out, that they will skip out the last moment right before we leave because the anxiety is so high.
Right.
Right. But we just push them and like almost take their keys. Not really. But we like always take their keys so they don't run away, right?
Right.
So we get them up there and we instantly do some fun activities, and we soon get to the reason why we're there, where we start to open that vulnerability and allowing the guys to share. And I would say at the retreats, to me, there's 2 areas of the retreats I think are the most powerful for the men and women, because we do a women's retreat now as well. This is our 3rd year with doing the women's retreat.
Cool.
But we have a spiritual team, and we have a couple guys that lead that team. And without those guys, like Roger, he is from the Blackfeet Nation. He's an impressive human being. When I said he's like 6'5", 3+ bills, he's a big, powerful man. But Roger, you're a cuddly bear. We all know it,
Nice.
And Roger, he speaks his native breath into us, his spirituality. And so what we do is we build from scratch a sweat lodge at every retreat. And we do 2 full days, not full, we do 2 days of 4 rounds of sweats where you're inside there and it's hot in places, and you're singing the native songs, you're praying, you're reaching out, you're calling yourself to come back home as a warrior. And I'll tell you, watching that take place and being part of it, I get emotional. I was just thinking about it because it's just watching that happen is so powerful.
Right.
And I just seeing some of the men, go out and just sob, and realize that they're okay. They can come back home. It's okay to come back. And so doing that for those days and watching Roger in his heart and his love for people and humans. He's at end of the Vietnam era, veteran himself. And then we have some younger guys who post 9/11 era that are just really good at what they do and following Roger's lead and taking over as well. And his sometimes when he's unable to go inside and to be part of the sweat because it's tough being in there for 4 rounds.
Yeah.
So I would say that is one of the most powerful things at our retreats that really bonds us again together. Doesn't matter. You could have met each other just 10 minutes early. The minute you go through some 4 rounds of sweats, you become brothers.
Nice. I like that.
And the other one is we finish every night at the lead of our clinicians around the fire pit, right? Fire pits are legendary for people just to sit and stare at the flames and just talk and to watch the men and be part of that. And again, pretty much all combat vets sitting around a fire and just sharing and being honest, even though it may feel ugly, and sometimes it is ugly. It's a beautiful thing to be part of. And by the end of the weekend and just being together, being goofy and, all the different activities with kayaking and fishing and different things we do, like skeet shooting we do at the very last day, and that these men, they feel like they have family, they found a connection again. And what we want to do is to make sure that they know that once they go home, you're not just going home, that you're still part of us. And that's the challenge for us, is to make sure that once we've connected with them, is we stay connected with them.
Nice.
And one thing we understand about military folk is that they miss the mission, right? They miss the purpose that they have every day. And VCR, our mission is the mission, right? It is going out in the community and serving people. It is being at a retreat and holding a brother's hands and crying with a brother. That's the mission, right? The mission is coming back and knowing that there's a disabled veteran who's elderly who can't chop his own wood. And we're going to come over. We're going to all chop the wood and stack it and bring it where it needs to be. And you want to see a job get done quick, you throw a couple, throw 10 military guys on it. It's going to get done pretty fast.
Right.
So you have that community service is a beautiful piece. And then our disaster relief, we have a community responder, we call it, that's almost really in Travis Alexander. Man, you want to talk about somebody you're just proud of. I mean, that guy, he runs our responder programming. It's all volunteer. Everything we do, it's a volunteer organization. Everything's voluntary, right? Volunteer. And Travis Alexander, he basically navigated 700 plus hours this fall between the Gray Road fire in Medical Lake and the Oregon Grove fire, which was North Spokane, that devastated 2 communities.
Wow.
So we come in because we're all trained through DNR with chainsaws and, the equipment, and we come in and we volunteer our time. We remove the dead, we clean up the yards, and it's all free to the people.
That's awesome.
And so many people at your most vulnerable time of, a fire devastating and burning your house down or whatever it may be. And maybe if you were lucky, like we had, our friend Mike O'Connor, who just passed away. He literally, Vietnam veteran, his house is being just raged by fire. He has to flee the home with his wife and his dogs. And he spends the night in the Yokes parking lot in Meade because nobody takes dogs. And then he gets in the Davenport Hotel, which is, of all hotels, one of the nicest historical hotels in Spokane. And during that time when he was away from his house, he realized he had some pain, and he realized he had stage 4 cancer.
Oh.
So not only is his house going through this, but he realized he had stage 4 cancer. And when we found out about this, man, our team, we hit it hard, and we just went out to his place and we cut down as many dead trees or burnt trees. We just got rid of it. We got rid of it, chipped it. We did whatever we could. And being out there with him and just watching a man, not even be able to talk about how grateful he is without crying, that we were doing this. And we're like, man, you don't understand. And I know he understands that our crew serving him is healing us, right? Right. What PCR is all about. It's about healing ourselves through our service for others, our mission for others. And he was doing pretty good. He sent me a text back late March and said that he was out shoveling and he didn't even know. If somebody didn't tell him, he didn't even know he had cancer. I was like, that's so good to hear, man. And then I texted him on Easter and didn't hear back. And then we found out that he passed away on the 6th of April.
Mm.
So fast, cancer's that just
evil.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's pure evil.
Right.
So just to be able to serve guys through our responder program like that with the disaster relief. And a lot of people don't know, it's just we should celebrate this more. It's probably my fault. I should celebrate our crew more because I do, man, they're so great. Is that they, like the fires in Texas, crew goes down there. Oklahoma, crew goes there. We're getting the fact that probably there right now on Georgia, So anytime there's a big disaster, we team up with groups like All Hands at Hearts, national organizations, disaster relief, Team Rubicon.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll send some of our crew or train it. We do disaster relief around the country. So you can see I'm just talking about the responder, the community service and the retreats. And even if we just find somebody who needs to pay a couple bills and they're down and out, we'll meet and we'll talk as a board and we'll vote and we'll figure if we're going to pull some cash together and we're going to help somebody get back on their feet, right?
Nice. It's all huge, man. It's great stuff. I like the whole concept of going out and so many things out there. I've never been in a sweat lodge, but that experience sounds wonderful. But just being in nature and the campfires and all that, the activities, great. Every one of them in and of itself is a bonding experience, and then to put them all together with some therapy and form that brotherhood that they're used to is huge for our veterans. And I'm very impressed by that. That's really, really cool. That's really cool. I'd like to know more about that. So all these things that you're talking about and these layers and the things that you do, how do people find out about that? Do you guys have a website? Are you guys on social media? What's the best way for people to get a hold of you just to find out more about your organization, or maybe get involved and volunteer, or if they're from a distance and they like what you're doing, maybe maybe throw some donations or something your way. What do you guys got going for outreach?
Yeah, I mean, number one, we're blessed. I'm blessed to have some really good friends that through the years of doing nonprofit that are in the the media world. With KXLY, Mark Peterson's a big weatherman. Has been around forever here. Literally big as in people know him, man. He's big. But he is always. We team up with him a lot too with his extreme team that he does, community help as well. So we'll team up with him. So he helps KXLY helps our name get out there a lot. There's been so good. KHQ, John Webb did a beautiful piece on us, an hour-long piece on the fires. Rob Curley, the editor of the Spokane Review, has given us so many beautiful pieces in the newspaper for our work. And so without those guys getting the word out, oftentimes people never hear us. So I just want to say thank you. Thank you to you guys for believing in us and believing in what we do in our organization. So reaching out to us to help us out and to learn more is you could contact us. We have vetcomres.org, and that's our website where you can donate. And of course, as a volunteer organization, we run off our donations. And the fire department in the Valley Fire Department, because our past president before me, Mike Patterson, he is a captain, and the fire department out there and various ones actually, they do a percentage on a monthly basis. They give us money. So it helps us keep alive and keep doing what we're doing. And our work with the DNR is giving us some money too through that. But man, we need your help. So because there's so many more veterans who need the help out there. Facebook's always a great place. So look us up on Facebook and Instagram. But Facebook is our storytelling place. That's where if you obviously it's live. It's not live, but it's quicker to see things that are going on, what we're doing, where we need help. Be part of our group. If you know a veteran, brother, sister, dad, uncle, anything that's struggling, reach out to us. You can email us. My personal email is Kiki, so KKIKI at vetcomres.org. So reach out to me. But really, again, my crew is so good at what they do. Terry, who is our secretary, she just takes care of all the paperwork, man. Without her, I can't do my job. Vern is vice president. He's been around with this organization since the beginning, and that guy is a legend. What he's done in his career as a military man of combat. Andy Hale is, our treasurer, has been with us forever. He's retired fire department, and he's one who's always on the road for us doing the disaster relief. And so our crew is made up of a crew of men and women that not only sit on boards and make decisions, but they also rolling up their sleeves and jumping into it and doing the work too. And that's what I love about the organization.
Nice.
Yeah, so reach out to us and let us know. Again, the Vet Center is great out in the Valley for a place of contact for our men and women as well in uniform. But we see big things for VCR down the line, and we're excited to see how we can get it to grow and partner with other organizations as well, because there's no need to recreate wheels.
Right. The more we can share what each other do, the more information we can get to followers. So when we talked on the phone, you'd shared a story with me that I thought was pretty powerful. Can you share that story with us about it was a Vietnam vet, I believe, and had a tree fall on his house,
So, out in the Valley, and again, I get a hats off to our team and our connections with other folks. Again, extreme team, Mark Peterson, and helping us out and get the big equipment, because without his connections, we don't get the skid steer and his dump trailer he let us use, through the day. But out in the Valley, Vietnam vet, and he had 7+ trees that are, some of them diameter 32+ inches, pine trees, and they were dying or dead from the bugs, beetles. And so a Vista came through and just dropped them in his yard. Just dropped them in his yard and left them. And they left one tree that was leaning away from the power lines that was dead. The very next windstorm, it blows it down and it falls on the roof of his garage and one of his cars and smashes it.
Wow.
And so again, just left there. So this guy, this was back in November. So all winter, he's unable to go outside and enjoy his yard and his time. He's got 14 grandkids who play in his yard. He cannot even go outside. It's dangerous. And he was just overwhelmed. There's no way he can financially get rid of this lumber. There's no way he can get out there himself. And, you know, he's, what did he say he was? I think he said he was 81 and he looks like he's 51. I couldn't believe how old he said he was, but he's a Vietnam veteran. They've been around a long time.
They've been a minute, right?
Yeah, it's quite a couple. But yeah, again, you talk about like Michael Connor, just when he starts talking about how grateful he, you know, was for us to come out and the emotions that are triggering. But yeah, we, you know, Travis Alexander probably put in with our team close to 200 hours to get this place dialed in to where it should be for him. And we really put that push on Easter weekend, Friday and Saturday, when we brought 2 large teams, had firemen there, community members, veterans, and we got a couple companies to donate, you know, those huge dumpsters that look like backs of semi-trucks, you know, that were dropped, and let us use those for free, skid steer for free. And Homer, he's one of our true guys that just knows everything. So he runs the skid steer and he's just amazing. He's running around that yard like he's been doing it all his life, you know, with that skid steer in tight places. And we cleaned that place up almost spotless in 2 days.
Wow.
And the beautiful part was the next day when he sends us pictures of his family out in the yard for Easter all dressed up, you know, as a thank you. You know, it was very moving to see that, see a man get back to where he should be with his family.
Right.
And all it took was, well, I mean, it did have a lot of fees when it came to dump fees and stuff like that, and our equipment, and that's where the donations definitely help us out, allow us to keep doing what we need to do to help people out. Is that, but really, it's just, what do you call it, $1,000 in dump fees or something like that. Really, it would have cost him well over 10 grand to have that stuff taken out of there.
Wow.
You know, so for us to come in there and just feel the joy of serving a brother in need was enough for us, you know.
Right. That's powerful, you know, and the images of his family out there for Easter, that had to be just amazing.
And Travis Alexander, the part that made him emotional was that he was kind of being goofy a little bit, and there's these 2 huge pine trees that kind of grew like this in the front yard, and so he cut both of them, the stumps left over, cut them into king and queen chairs for him and his wife.
Cool.
And so the pictures were them all sitting in those 2 tree seats, you know.
That's cool.
So he just was moved that they were actually using those to celebrate their time on Easter together.
That is just amazing. You know, an organization like yours that is so involved in the community, you know, you get to interact and see, you know, what you're doing and the fruits of your labor, and have the rewards of being able to connect with these people after you've done something for them, and that's for you guys. It's powerful. You know, I couldn't imagine anybody not wanting to be on a team like that, to go out and serve and be involved in missions with that kind of just feedback. So pretty awesome stuff.
It's hard to walk away from it. And that's why if you look at our organization, there's so many of them that have been here since the beginning, really. I mean, even the founder, Darren, who's retired, you know, I don't know if I'm supposed to say this, but he doesn't live in this country anymore because he found himself a beautiful place somewhere in the central part of America, right?
Right.
And he's living a beautiful life, but he still finds himself here all the time, coming home to be part of it and helping out and being part of the phone calls and on the board, and, you know, because he knows the value and the importance of what this organization does and stands for and what we continue to do in our community. So it's hard to walk away from something that's good.
It is.
When there's so much bad, right?
Right.
You see the good.
It is really difficult. So, you know, in the time we have left, is there anything that we haven't touched on, anything that you would like to share, any messages you'd like to put out there?
You know, again, number one is the team. You know, without you guys, you know, we can never do the things we do. The relentless volunteer hours, the selflessness of our team to volunteer, because other organizations that do what we do, they get paid. I mean, it's a job, right? Organizations, and nothing against that. But our team works relentlessly as volunteers because we know the mission, we know the purpose, and we know the good that it does and the healing that it brings. And so I just proud of our team, proud of what we do. I'm proud to, I don't deserve to be the president, I'm not a combat vet. Just a coastie.
Just a coastie.
Just a coastie. It flew and Baywatch stuff on helicopters.
Sounds like you're right where you need to be, though.
Yeah.
So,
and I love seeing, and I didn't mention this, is one of the great things about service work is doing it with your family. And there's many of our members that bring their sons, their daughters to serve with them. And, my son, Justice, who is a sophomore in high school, he's been in basically almost every event that we have. You see a young man serving others in need, but standing next to volunteers, veterans, it's pretty cool to see that as a dad, So for me, if anything, that's my why.
And that's huge. We need a lot more of that in this country right now because the youth is our future, and making sure that they're pointed in the right direction and learning that, life is about not just yourself, but serving those around you and learning lessons as you go. That's huge. And I tip my hat to you guys for involving your families because it's powerful for each and every one of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it definitely is. So, yeah, I just want to say thank you to my team, but thank you to the community for embracing us and helping us and those news organizations, because to me, everything we do should be a story told, because like you said, the good should be shared, the good should be spread. And if we can figure out how to do that, like you, right? What you're doing right here is that you're spreading the good news, right?
That's what we're trying to do, because it seems like, no matter where you go anymore, you turn on a TV, you turn on a radio, you go into social media, there's so much negativity. There's so much just conflict everywhere that we need to find a way to share the positives, to share the organizations that are making a difference, the individuals that are making a difference, and tell the stories about those that have been affected by it. And, we started this with that in mind. I mean, there's so many organizations like yours out there that do absolutely amazing things, and nobody knows who you are. And if we can do something about that, then that is well suited for all of us. Because in talking to you on the phone initially, and then in sitting here and listening to you now, you guys are awesome. You have an awesome organization, and it sounds like you have a great team involved in it. And with that, you guys should be able to just continue to do positive things. And
yeah, and I do want to say that to the veterans out there that we remember, we're brothers, sisters. We remember you, what you've done, the service you've given to our country, to your families, the sacrifices, and we are here. We haven't forgotten. We're here, and our Gold Star families, which are very close to our organization as well, we remember that we haven't forgotten you either. And we do a lot of work with our Gold Star families and helping them out. And if it's community service in their home or just being part of their lives, right? When they lose the one they love, who sacrificed and gave all.
Right.
So thank you again for your time and giving us a voice here.
Oh, thank you for coming out. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Again, you guys are awesome, man. I really, I'm going to continue to track your organization and see the things that you do. And maybe sometime if you guys can ever use some extra hands, we'll come out and see if we can help you with something, because it's very much in alignment with the things that we're trying to do. The people and things that are important to you are very important to us as an organization. Our Gold Stars are everything to us. We do a lot with them, with our veterans, our active duty. We're trying to build resources for all of them. And you guys fit right into so many of those columns. I mean, you're just checking boxes right down the line of what we're looking for to share. So, yeah, it's been absolutely honored to sit here and talk with you. You guys' mission was great. So,
Thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you. We'll wrap it up at that point. And For you guys out there watching, look up Kelly, look up VCR. We'll put all of their contact information within the video, several places for you to get a hold of it. But definitely check them out. They're a powerful organization. So glad we had the time to sit down and talk with you guys. If you guys are an organization you'd like to get involved, if you'd like to be a part of what we're doing here with Stronger Together, please reach out and let us know. You can find us at social media, Facebook, Instagram, or at projectrollcall.org. We'd love to sit down and talk to you and hear about your mission. So until next time, you guys all take care of yourselves, and please remember that each and every one of you guys matters. We're out.
Yeah, thank you.
All right.
Ah, great.
Awesome, man. I appreciate you.